The moment I realized that I knew I could turn pro was when I was on 125s and I was racing people when I was in the B class on a staggered gate. The A class would take off before us and I would catch up to them. And people would be getting mad saying I was sandbagging, but I was like, I'm only 13. Like, I can't just move up to the A class. Like, that's way too young. It really hit me when I started figuring out like who had their pro license and like what they did. And we started doing the math and I was thinking, if I can match my speed up to this rider, they did this. And then when I get to them, I start passing them. So then I was like, who's the next rider? And I'll look for that one rider, start catching up to them, start passing them. With the bikes getting stolen in April and me breaking my femur in May, it was 2 hard hits in early 2015. And after that, when I was regrouping for my femur, we're like, what are we gonna do? And, I mean, we had some time to save money. I was talking to my trainer, Joe Adams, and he was like, you missed out B for Loretta's. Why don't you just go A? I've been telling you this for over a year now. And I was like, I don't know. Like, am I ready? He's like, dude, you've been ready. So I remember my first race back, which was, I believe, 4 months after my injury. I raced and I won it. I went 1-1 in 250A and I forget what I got in the 450A, but it was pretty cool to win my first race coming back after my injury and being in A class. And then I was like, you know what, I can do this. Like, I'm gonna go to these pro-ams, I'm gonna start getting my points to get my pro license, and maybe next year I can get the pro license and they're my first pro national.
He had the stock 250 Honda, and you know, we said, well, if he's going to go race a national,
yeah,
you know,
he needs to be equipped to do so.
I was like, he needs a bike capable of that. So,
and we wanted to be able to have a practice bike and a race bike, because there's nothing worse than trying to use one for both, and a mechanical failure, you know, is
you
tremendous
don't show up
setback.
to a national on a ragged out practice bike.
Right.
Unless it's like a last resort. But yeah, so we went and bought another Honda, and I mean, 0-hour Honda, shipped the motor out to California.
Yeah.
I called a couple engine builders.
Yeah, we talked.
Who actually, I was surprised, you know, that they took the time and really kind of like answered all my questions and concerns.
Yeah, we would put them on speaker and kind of interview them to understand, you know what was their motor building philosophy, you know, because there's 10 different ways to skin a cat, there's 10 different ways to build a motor, you know, and understanding, you know,
why they do it, what they recommend, and why they recommend it, you know.
Because you wanted power, but reliability.
Right, yeah, and that's the thing, you know, we can't...
we're not a race team. We can't afford to break it down every single race afterwards.
So we wanted something with good power and good reliability. And
we went to Loretta's the week before Unadilla, and I had some really good rides and I felt really strong on the bike, and I mean, we had some flaws down there. Nothing on my part, it was all bike, and it sucked, but what was nice is we got those bugs worked out at Loretta's, so that when we went to Unadilla, everything was good.
His only real goal going into Loretta's was to make it under the 10s. He had never finished within the top 10 positions to be able to make it under the 10s afterwards. And
I think he got there 3 times, two
or three times, and to see him, you know, under the 10s, and you know, it's horrible weather, of course. It's Loretta's, downpour, mudfest, whatever. And it was so cool because the announcer's tower, actually Ricky Carmichael was standing up in the announcer's tower, and some of Coty's friends, Lord only knows how, got up there with him. So a bunch of his friends are standing next to Ricky Carmichael, and Coty's like, yeah, we made it. And it just so happened that he had to ride the stock bike. We had a problem with the race bike. We had to, swap the motor, whatever. So he was on the stock bike, and he made it under the 10s, and he's yelling at his buddies. And Ricky Carmichael, I guess, thought maybe he was like talking to him too. And Ricky gives him the thumbs up and stuff, and just to like see the look on Coty's face when, you know, Ricky kind of gave him props and acknowledged him. I mean, that was a huge thing. And, you know, Judy and I are both standing there crying because it was just, you know, it was a huge moment for them as a family.
I told them not to red flag it, and they're like, you don't have a choice. I was like, please don't red flag it. I was like, keep the race going. They're like, you don't have a choice.